All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. I used the wrong phone for some reason. I grabbed a phone that didn't have charge left in it, so it kind of hung up. At the end, when there's only a few percent of power, your internet kind of loses connection a little bit. It goes to some sort of low power circuit. But it is what it is. Now I got to be able to get an iPhone for my hearing aid. I say it's just it's torture to try to use Androids with hearing aids. But again, she knows that too. They know that too. So I finally was able to get the pipe. What do they call it? It's like rubber neoprene that fits around a pipe, like pipe wrap. And I put those bar things I put around uh, my neck, and then that's the way you're supposed to do it. I have it in a big rig, but I didn't feel like we were in a heavy rig, so I ordered some of this, and it fit perfectly. So it's nice now. I don't have to wear that heavy rig. Again, they wanted me to wear the heavy rig so they could say, "Why is he wearing the heavy rig? Looks like he's going to like storm somebody." It's a scam. Obviously, drug dealers are out there doing what they want. Sex traffickers are doing what they want. They go after the person that isn't that person. So it is some crook pays them to hit somebody, and then they say that the person that they're supposed to hit is a crook. So that's how corruption works. That's why, like, did Trump actually stop any narcotics from coming in this country? He can't because the lower level cops are corrupt. Right? I guarantee there's backwoods places everywhere where law enforcement provides protection. You're not as much as you're going to see. A lot of port stuff, a lot of things moving into the country. So, it's hard to do things. But I think there's something more sure that they're doing. And I'm thinking that they have law enforcement contacts. Right. And then the other thing where they put a tip in about somebody, and they may even like set that person up with narcotics, but like a small load. So you're like, aha, we got like, 200 pounds of meth. But while you interdict the person with 200 pounds of meth, again, that's why I speak about the zone defense. Right. So what happens is everybody converges on the win, and then semi goes by with the couple tons worth of narcotics. Right. So that's what when they interdicted me, I said I bet you the person that called on me is a crook or a dirty cop. Right. Had them interdict me, and meanwhile somebody followed me All right, I was able to fix it. This is a VPN. Something was up with the VPN. I usually don't run the VPN as much because they can somehow trigger errors with it. Trying to get out here in the heat so I can get climatized. She's not supposed to be in your life. Look, I'm not interested in discussing what's going on with any of you. So, again, your minds are trying to focus my discussion on something. And of course, there was no real authority to do anything to me that they did to me. Right. It was one long criminal enterprise. Right. I'm sorry. Well, I never said nothing for years. I mean, I was being pulled over by people all the time, harassed. Right. Not all the time, but a little bit. Right. They just, they torture you to say something and say that's why we're saying it. Why we're doing it. We're doing it because it is. I'm doing it because of it. But none of it's legal. It doesn't keep us safe. It keeps us unsafe. Are you Larry? Sorry, Larry. It's always nice yesterday with the candles, the memorial candles for the Pope. That worked out well. No, they loud and clear. They weren't accepting a peaceful world. My gosh. No, so what's happening right now in the church is anybody that had an interaction with me is being probably stalked. Right. And there's already one face person that identified in the church. Possibly a dirty cop. But I don't know. Thank you, Larry. Well, they're indoctrinating. I'm almost sure they indoctrinated the other guy. The Baptist guy. I got to call him. I feel bad. I wanted to talk to him a bit. No, there's no doubt that 5 years ago, had I been able to see what kind of massage I needed and could get to that massage, I definitely would have healed and been well. Right. And this loss of hearing and everything would have never manifested like this. So apparently, like the woman from the front office, she was like, you can walk, out in the regular area. I'm not going to stop you from that. So the hint was that they had actually called on me. Is this guy allowed to walk around like that? Thanks, Larry. A lot of them are anti-cop. That's the weird part about cops. Dirty cops are anti-cop, and they work with the anti-cop people. So here's what it is. How you doing? Thank you, bro. Nah, you messed up, all of you. Believe me, there's a reason the economy's tanking. There's a reason we can't fix it. No, I was doing good this morning. I was getting ready to order a phone, and they got in the middle of the process again. Right, the grass is looking good, actually. They're out cutting the grass. Well, what do you expect? I can't stop living. Right. I guess, they expect me to just hide in my apartment all day. The only reason I was in my apartment is because I was sick. Again, you all fantasize about what's going on. Because, of course, I deny I have any disability or anything. And They don't even know for sure of my hearing, because I lie. I mean, just full of shit all day long. Oh, you didn't want the other guy? This guy's back now. Okay. Well, didn't they say I should be a certain way? They're not. They don't mean it. See? Thanks, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. No, I didn't change just to prove it. I changed to change, but hell, if you're going to interfere in that church and all that other stuff, well, I'm sure God's going to have a different world for me to enter into. Like I said, I'm not worried about going to heaven. The average person that goes to the LDS church has got to worry about the salvation. I don't. That's why I have this condition of life, because they hate me. Again, I'm with God. I'm really with God, not like kind of with God. Well, if the church was real, I wouldn't have trouble. I'd be in a church and it would have worked. Right. No, I'm not really in a church. I'm sure it's just going to be a flyby. 100%. I mean, I'll still probably go to church a little bit more. As the Lord tries to look at how all unfolding. No, I don't hurt people. I mean, actually, if I was honest with you, I'm pretty strong at not hurting people. Right. 100%. Well, because of what they've done to me. They all know what's been done to me and how long it's been done. I'm a Superman, actually. They hate me. They just hate me. Weirdos. So I was able to build the flame lights behind the Torah that I installed. Right. They give off that flame glow. I was able to put the permanent power in those. So like rechargeable, but you can put a USB-C cord through the back of I put it through the back of the ark. Two of them, and they go into the power block. Right. So that won't need to be recharged anymore. That's good. I was hoping to get that done. I actually wanted to do something else today, but I don't think I'm going to get to it. Well, I'm kind of like stymied as to what to do. Verizon, well, actually, AT&T actually did throw me off, because the price I was looking at was without protection, and their protection's like $18. So that kind of put it up a little bit. I just can't believe that Boost is treating me like that. Right. Oh my God. Like I said, people walking in there with 650 credit score, right? Not going to pay off the phone. Going to make 2 payments and drop, and they're going to get a phone today. From every place that I didn't get a phone. 100%. Thank you, Larry. Well, I just have the hearing aid expenses coming up, so I don't know if I want to. I don't know as far as paying a big phone bill, because if I went with Boost, it wouldn't be much at all, right? As far as putting another line in, my one line's like $38.54. Right. If you look at Boost's number, at least the one I look at has a 54 in it. Again, I don't know what I'm looking at. That could be the task force number. Right. Thanks, Larry. So again, if I have to pay, another $70 or something, I don't care, right? Or actually, I think it's about $75. As long as it's, it'll be around 100 or under, right? But when you go to Verizon, it gets expensive. I could leave my one phone at Boost. All right. Oh, wait a minute. That's the point. If I were to take my phone out of Boost and wait a month, I could actually buy a phone. from Boost. That's the point. Isn't that weird? Right. They actually these plans were designed so people wouldn't do that. I have no idea why they did that. Right. Because a lot of people, that's what they do. That's what they used to do. They see a good deal, they leave for a month, and they come back. Right, or whatever the period of time is. Probably a month. So I'm getting ready to pour it out, and the guy goes, "Look," I said, "I'm pouring it out because you won't sell me a device." He goes, "You want me to sell you a device? I'll sell you a device." And then when I researched it, they're like, "No, you can't." See? So they tell me to go. You can go buy it at the Boost store. I go to the Boost store. They don't have any deals. There's nothing. There's the people that pay as you go, but people, right? Meanwhile, like I said, somebody with 650 credit score is not going to pay off the phone, and then they'll get real tight with it. Oh, we can't give them a phone anymore. And nobody gets a phone but they'll always get through, right? That's the world, man. That's the world. No, this guy's back. He's here to stay. I'm not going to church next week and going, "Oh, I found the light." Hashem says, "I found the light. This is the light." Treating you like this. Because everybody knows when I say something, it could happen. So again, they might have a rash of people defaulting on phones. Probably already do. Meanwhile, a guy with good credit score can't get a phone because somebody in security got told not to let me have a phone. That makes sense, none of it. Because it doesn't say if you already have an account. It doesn't say any of that, right? Mm-hmm. It approved me for the phone. I mean, I doubt that what she said is true. Correct. And somebody put that fake, because that's what they want me to stop talking about. They put a fake email in there. There's no way I could put a fake email, right? Because they verify it. When you put your email in your phone account, they verify your email. So there's no way it can be a fake email.
100%.
They combine two of my emails. Go, "Oh, see, you made a mistake. You combined two of your emails. Hey, we're duping him. We're duping him." I mean, they're sick, man. They've been doing this to me for over 30 years. They're all sick. None of them are dead, but right in hell. Again, I can't forgive you. I can only tell you what's going to happen. I've forgiven you, but I can only tell you what's going to happen to you. I mean, there's no reason for me not to tell the truth. There's a ton of people in law enforcement and other places that should hear the truth and should know that they shouldn't be doing the things they're doing, and that it's just a false system and it's fake, and they're not keeping anyone safe. And they're actually causing crime. They're sickos. They're not doing it because I said this. If I don't say it, you still do it. And it's not because I said too much. Right?
Sorry, Larry.
The whole thing is designed to make their victims speak out in that manner. They'll say, "Oh, for confession." Nah, they don't give a shit. They know I'm innocent. They know I'm innocent. They know I'm innocent.
100%.
I mean, they're sickos, man. Absolute sickos. New Mexico, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, New York, California. Sickos. And their father's the devil. Yes. And that's not a spell. I'm speaking the truth. That's it. Why do you all have to interject some thought? Because you're sickos and your father's the devil. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, they can stop it any day. They knew they could, and they know they can. They just aren't going to do it because they're sickos and their father's the devil. Nah, they should have, backed off 5 years ago and let me live my life. All I needed was get my tissues massaged the right way, and I've been well. Again, steroid does help, but it showed, having the steroid didn't work by itself. I needed to have cranial tissues massaged. That was what was triggering all of it. Yeah. But again, I knew about that years before, but they beat me down, man. If they would have just left me in massage, it never would have tightened like that. Again, that was required by law. I mean, there's no reason for you all to do what you did. Again, remember, they were operating me, trying to get me to be sexual. And I had that Jasmine girl. They tried to act like she was 19. She wasn't 19. She's, a sexually active FBI agent or DHS agent or a state officer from New Mexico. Right. In fact, I know every time she left the massage scenario where she was duping me, she went and had sex with somebody. Or just about every time. Yeah. Thank you, Larry. And what she did was she put her head, within inches of my penis. She's a sicko. Meanwhile, they're sexualizing me, and they're wheeling it up, they're casting spells, and they're, thank you, Larry. They're restricting me from any relationship with a woman, my age, and where we could have a good relationship and get married. They bring her along, and she's supposedly innocent. I could tell she wasn't innocent. She portrayed herself innocent. She played the part, but when you look at her when she walk out, she's one of those agents, man. Stay away from that. Stay away from that. Yeah, she's a sicko, and her father's a devil. Thank you, Larry. You need 19, at least 27, if not 30. Thank you, Larry. She's fully sexually active. Do I have fantasies about her? Nope. I'm just trying to figure out how to straighten her out. She's so weird. And then I figured out she's a cop and she's dirty. And sexually active. And part of her sexually active is doing people dirty. You see, that's their sexuality. Believe it or not. Like missing exploited children, creating pedophiles turns them on. It really does. It's part of cuck thing. But it's like Black Widow type cuck thing. Right. No, it's their sexuality, man. Believe you me. A lot of these detectives that do that stuff, their sexuality doesn't work without causing somebody else to be to sexually adulterate another person at a minimum, if not cause them to be a pedophile. Oh my God. Thanks, Larry. That's their sexuality. When I was in the government, I didn't know anything because agents said stuff, deputies said stuff, but I didn't know what it meant. I was asleep. Right. They said they say stuff like, "Oh, they're weird," because what happens when the other agents and the other officers, the other marshals are around them, they get weird sex thoughts. So they attributed that to them being, that's how they would say it. I didn't know anything back then. Oh, they're sickos, man. They're sickos. They put people in prison. You put somebody in prison that didn't commit a crime, that's a sicko. They do that also. Well, because if they order somebody into prison, into jail, get them off the street, put them, because it's a criminal enterprise. It's part of the racket. Right? They'll go after somebody that's innocent. They don't care. They're definitely not altruistic. Not at all.
100%.
Again, why? Because they're sickos, devils, and their father's the devil, or father's Satan. It's interchangeable, those terms. Devil, Satan. Criminals. Actually, not all criminals are devils. Not all criminals are evil. Some criminals are just possessed.
Right, Larry.
No, the other guy, this guy's here to stay. The other guy won't be back. At least not for a while. Maybe God will try it again later.
Larry.
They thought they were going to do this to me, and I was going to act like the humble church guy. Right. Well, God got you, didn't he? So again, then getting paid and doing this to me would be a lot easier then, right? Right. Right. Oh, this thing's going to come after all of you, whether I say something or not. The economy's tanking. You people have money. You're the ones that are losing the money. Yeah, you're wealthier than me. Oh, yeah, wealthier than more. That makes us big, right? What are you talking about? I got more money than more. I just keep saying that. Soon you'll still have more money than me, but it might only be $10.
Oh, shit.
They'll get to a point where they'll jump out the windows, watch. They'll start jumping out the windows. Everything will crash. At least it's like a slow death this time. Everybody's moving their money. But just moving the money also kills the economy, right? I got to, they're the best market in history. They're the highest wages in history, as well as inflation. Eggs are expensive.
Oh, my God.
I don't like Biden at all, but again, when you want to be real about things, I mean, that's crazy, right? Well, your theories sound good, but they don't really sound good to me. But they sound okay. I mean, you made money in life. You're big billionaires and millionaires, right? So we'll give you that credit. But if you're in a world that says you can't get there from here, then you can't get there from here. Do you understand that part?
100%.
Well, if in 1952 somebody invested in Hoover vacuum cleaners, it doesn't mean they're going to make the same amount of money in this economy. Right. Thank you, Larry. Correct.
Agreed, Larry.
Well, obviously, there's a ton of insider trading. Obviously, they don't prosecute even 10% of the insider trading. Okay, again, it's probably deep state. They just prosecute whoever they want. Right. Well, you make a lot of money based upon you and your buddies investing at the same time in the same things. Again, the other day Trump said it's a good day to invest or whatever it was, and yeah, it was, right? Well, they're not going to put Trump in jail for that. I mean, let's be real. Let's speak reality instead of the scam all the time. Thank you, Larry. So, right. That kind of exists, but it's getting thin, isn't it? Right. There's ways to lead people into investing in certain stocks too, online through ads and spam and all that. Right.
Thank you, Larry.
No, it's not real. It isn't like, oh, we're arresting the people that are the worst offenders or something like that. It's a scam. Most people, who knows if they even did the crime? I mean, that's how bad it is anymore.
Right.
So what they're trying to do is rule the judges, but I don't think that's going to work. I mean, in some communities, the judges are ruled. Right. But overall, I don't think so. I mean, it's just so weird to hear an attorney general say what she says about judges. Like we're this pure democracy. And the fact is, Republicans always used to shy away from the word democracy because it aligns with Democrat. Now they're all saying it. Because theoretically, we're not a constitutional republic now, I guess. Right? That's why you hear Republicans call us the Republic, and you hear Democrats call us the democracy. It's been like that for years. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, judges have helped Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton hasn't said. I wonder if he's going to say something now. But I haven't heard much from Ken Paxton, and maybe he doesn't want to fight that fight because federal judges have helped him with tons of cases. Right. He's notorious for going after Democrats with the federal judges.
Correct.
Again, same thing next door here from Missouri. I forget his name.
Correct, Larry.
So again, it's not a fight that a lot of people really want to fight.
Right.
Not because we are a constitutional republic. In fact, in a democracy, a faction can destroy the entire nation and put people out and not allow them to have, and that's why that exists.
Right.
Well, the jury's still out on whatever that guy's name is, Abigo Garibi, whatever his name is. The guy in El Salvador, right? But there's a process, and you have to go through that process. Right? And that's what I think Senator Kennedy's talking about.
Thank you, Larry.
Again, when you were finding FBI agents, I and the boss guy, whatever his name was, I don't know if he's even working there anymore. We told you there's a process. Just because you're not the first people that came in and fired people. I mean, I guess you get off on saying that or something like machismo. Oh, I mean, they come in and did it all the time. I tell people all the time, just be careful. Because when the new administration comes in, people, the little rats in your office like Rick Henry and Karen Shelton and Chief Quick, they'll run behind your back. They're deep state, man. I began lightly investigating them, but nothing I think they knew about. I don't think. Right.
Thank you, Larry.
Well, I was getting information. Some of the information, like at a certain point, I kind of stopped. That's it. Like I'll see what they'll do if I stop investigating. Right. And they didn't change. Because I actually got information about Chief Quick. That was pretty, what happens in the Marshal Service, if you get in a shooting, you're like God. You're God on earth. If you get in a shooting and live and kill the guy or, whatever it is, if you live through a shootout, then you're God on earth. So Chief Quick had that. So towards the end, somebody came up to me and was starting to get, they're supposed to give me information like 2 years earlier, but they didn't. So when I stopped the investigation, because I'm just like, I'm going to be a plain old deputy. I'm not going to care what's going on. All right. Well, I wanted to see if there was a nexus between the players that I couldn't readily see. That was about it at that point. Right.
Thank you, Larry.
And there is on some of them, but I couldn't see it, I guess, back then.
Right.
Now they weren't doing anything. They should have been in prison, and I should have been paid millions. That's really where it was. I was nice to just walk off, right? So somebody comes up to me and says the shooting wasn't what the report actually says. There's something more to it. Now I don't know what that is, because Chief Quick had gotten in a shooting, and she became famous. And somebody like she's like a narcissist. So usually they would fire somebody like that, or at least rein them in. But she had been in a shooting, so she was transporting a prisoner. Somebody came up and she shot the person. I don't know if she had a throwdown gun. I don't know anything. But somebody very credible began to say something, and I said, "Look, I don't want to know anything."
Thank you, Larry. Oh my God.
Thanks, Larry. Theoretically, people began speaking, because people were being killed in the government. So people began speaking out about all the secrets. Right. After John was killed.
Thank you, Larry.
They said that she did something about the shooting makes it not what the report says. But see, they hire people like that. Right.
Thank you, Larry.
The deep state hires people because they're kind of invincible because they got in the shootout. Right. Nah, I was a good guy. I helped everybody. They should have let me just live, man. It made no sense. None of it makes any sense. 100%. Thank you, Larry. Based upon what they block me from, it's obvious they're not trying to get me to be a better person or something like that. Right. And that's been tested and investigated extensively. Well, the deep state's like this. Again, somebody used people in her community that she lived around. So she was a federal officer, and she was gunning for me for some reason. Right. Maybe I was helping. Maybe I was helping the wrong agents, and she hated the agents I was helping, and then hated me. I don't know. Right. They're giving tips to the wrong people. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to give it to her. All right. But so one of the things that the deep state probably does is use civilians. Again, I call it the paramilitary, right? But like their neighbors. Like, did Karen Shelton, Chief Quick, and Rick Henry have neighbors that they brought in? And my brother's calling. Stay peaceful, praise God.